Welcome to week 4 of the VGDA Development Association. Just really quick, is there anyone here who's not in the dev team other than this guy and that guy? Okay, cool, just checking. We've been spending the last 4 weeks, although last week was fun, learning about the game was fun, the games was fun, but the weeks before that was kind of just a lot of administrative work, stuff that's not a whole lot of fun. Not why a lot of us are here, but now's when we start doing the cool stuff that's going to get us jobs and make us not homeless. All right. So just quickly, we're going to be going over. We're going to go over the game. We're going to go over what the minimum viable product is for this game. And so the minimum viable product, for those of you who weren't here last semester, is the most basic, fraction of what makes our game kind of understandable and playable. And then what we're going to be breaking up into our development groups and kind of brainstorming, and we'll be talking more about what we're going to do with that. And then signing up for things, which I know pretty much pretty much already did, but this is just to make sure that we're all signed up for the right things. Okay, so our game, designed by Colton Palmer, is The Last Stand. So it's a top-down shooter game where you're an archer, and you're the last surviving archer, and you must fight against waves of enemies. You're the last archer in this army that got defeated, and so you just kind of have to survive. And so it's kind of an interesting take on your standard bullet hell game because you start off surrounded. As opposed to like your normal bullet hell games, kind of like those plane games that we've all seen where you're scrolling up and things are just shooting at you constantly. Here you just kind of start out totally boned and it just gets worse. So that's cool. And there's the arrow catch mechanic. For those of you who weren't here for the presentation, you start off with just one arrow or a couple arrows. That's up to design. So a couple arrows in your quiver, and the way you get more arrows is you catch them as they're about to stab you in the face. And so with that actually creates a unique set of strategies that we're going to be able to mess with and have a lot of fun with. Yeah. So the minimum viable product, like I said, is the smallest amount of game features required to simulate actual gameplay. So this is just what our first goal is. I don't know, so there are a lot of familiar faces, a lot of people who worked on Persephone last semester. And so once we have this, we can actually have like real gameplay that we can demo and we can debug, and that's really exciting because once we kind of got to the minimum viable product of Persephone last semester, like after that work really kicked off and really accelerated, and it was like in that last 2 weeks that we did kind of more than we had in the previous 6 weeks. So that's a really important thing to just get to, so that's going to be our main goal. And our main goal is to understand how the enemies shoot. For the enemies, is to have them spawn, shoot, and die. And then the player spawns, moves, catches, shoots, takes damage, and dies. The enemies, like, they don't even need to aim or anything like that. That's something we'll add later. For now, it's just going to be super basic. And technical people, you're just going to use placeholder art, so it's just colored squares. And then once the art starts coming out, then we'll start replacing that. And that's how it goes. So, design's coming up with things, and art's coming up with things, and technical's coming up with things. But you guys are going to be operating sort of independently of each other until we reach here, because technical doesn't need you people. Anyway, moving along. Okay, so we're going to be breaking up into teams, and we're going to be kind of like assigning jobs to you. Now, your teammate's going to be coordinating with you what it is that you want to do. So not everyone wants to do character assets on the art team. not everyone in technical is interested in AI, and there are some people who really just want to do like character backstories for content. And so if you have something that you're really passionate about and that's what you want to make a career out of, we want to help you with that. So it's going to be up to you to talk to your team leads to figure out what's best going to suit your needs. Actually, bullet space for no reason. And super important to stay in contact outside of the meetings. So you'll be giving them your email and probably like friending them on Facebook so they can stalk you at all times of the day. And yeah, so we're just going to be trying to stay organized, getting sure that everyone's on the same page, making sure that everyone's on the same page. And today, it's mostly going to be talking about, each team's going to be talking about the very preliminary parts. So for technical, Josh is going to be going over, Josh, myself, and Aaron Gutierrez, who might show up later, will be going over minimum viable product on the coding side. Artists will be going over like concept art, visual themes, and things like that. And then content people will be going over story design. Sign up for these. That's about it. So if you're not on our Facebook page, go over there. It's really easy if you have any friends with anyone who's in here, or even a lot of people at Cal State Long Beach, you'll probably be able to just search Video Game Development Association and find it. You want to get on the mailing list, send an email to contact.vgda@gmail.com. That has our weekly newsletters. It also has some cool information. We're going to start putting like design tutorials, and also we're going to be posting stuff about like internships that are coming up. So it's a good source of information for things that are both club related and things that are industry related instead. OrgSync, signing up for that's good because that's kind of how the school charts how large an organization is. And the larger an organization appears to be, the more money they give us. And we like money. And for the dev team, if you want to sign up for the dev team and you're not quite sure who to get in contact with, or if you have any, actually, side note, if anyone on the development team has any questions about development at any time, just email boss at development.vgda@gmail.com. He's our VP of development. He's going to be the one who's kind of overseeing all of the development work. So yeah. Anyone have any questions so far? Yeah.
Don't forget the subreddit.
Don't forget the subreddit. Okay.
John Sugar's already put up a few resources on the subreddit.
Okay, so send me a link to that, and then we can put it up on the Facebook group.
Literally just search VGDA in the search bar.
Louder.
Literally just search VGDA in the search bar on Reddit.
Okay. Apparently VGDA wasn't taken already, which is kind of cool. So if you just search VGDA on Reddit, how do you get in?
You just make an account.
Is it, but it's not like private or anything like that?
You just post.
I've never used Reddit in my life.
Neither have I, but it's honestly not hard to use.
Thank you.
It's bad.
You're all
Can you censor things
Yeah.
afterwards in the video, Matt? Like, can you censor me flipping them off? Okay. Anyway. All right.
What is censor?
So, subreddit, just look up VGDA. That's going to be our forums for now. We're trying to get something up on the site so that everything can be more contained. But yeah, that's not going so well at the moment because Squarespace, WordPress is kind of janky with forums. Anyway, so I guess the slide after this is a lie. But next meeting we're going to be the dev teams are going to be presenting kind of what they were working on this week. So that's going to be cool to see what art's coming up with, content's coming up with, technical's coming up with. We're going to be going over agile scrums, and that's going to be how we're running the development side of the meetings from now on. Those of us who were part of the Persephone project last semester kind of know how we're doing it. We're going to do it a little bit better this semester, just because we have had a little more practice and we've done a little bit more research about it. Suffice to say that it's super important. Also, everyone who's in the development team Make sure that you stay after the PowerPoint's done because, yeah, we're going to be talking about things with your teammates. This is something we used last semester, and it was pretty chaotic, and so we did a lot of planning to figure out how we could make it better. And so the idea behind Trello is that it's going to be, it's a task management software so that you can, basically you don't have to try to remember things. You just write it up here, and then that part of your brain is freed up to actually solve problems. And so your team leads are going to be implementing boards to organize you guys so that you can convey how well you're doing on tasks, whether or not a task is completed, or whether or not you need help with a task. And those are kind of the three main objectives about using Trello. And so the way it's going to be is Trello has this kind of strange hierarchy that people that sometimes takes some getting used to. So the way it breaks down is first you have an organization. And so each of your organizations is going to be, so this is like the VGDA executive organization. And so art's going to have its own organization, technical's going to have its own organization, content's going to have its own organization. I don't know about sound.
It's got one.
Okay, cool. There you go. He's the man. And so an organization is just a group of boards. And so boards are going to be where you're looking at your tasks. And so you open a board, and this is a standard board template. So all of the boards should look pretty similar to this. And you'll see all of these columns here. And so each of these columns is called a list. And so a list is going to have a couple of different uses, and I'll be going over those in a sec. But right now I just want to make sure that everyone understands. So it goes organization, like art, content, technical. So since I know art best, I'll use art as an analogy. Sorry, y'all. You'll have the art organization, and then you'll have like the character board. And the character board will be coordinating the tasks of like character concepts, finalized character assets, and so on. And then, like I said, each of these columns are called lists. And those will be one of two things. So what you see here, you see the thing called the hub, finalized, waiting for approval, blocked, and necessary or relevant resources. And so every single board is going to have these 5 things. And these are going to, so that the idea is that you can, since all of these things are the same, you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to, it won't look super alien, because part of the problem we had last semester was that everyone had all these kind of crazy boards, and each one was different. So it was really hard to find information. So the hub is going to be your guide to the board. It's going to have an explanation of what this board is about. So if it's the character art board, it'll be like, okay, this is a board that's just for character art. This is kind of like the definition of what character art is. So that's going to tell you if you're posting or looking in the right place. And then you're going to have the current week's project, and that's going to say who is working on what. And then that'll help you, it'll help people who have been assigned to those tasks know, if they're working on the right thing. And it'll also help you figure out what specifically is on the board, rather than just character art. Character art is a kind of nebulous thing, but this way you can see, it's almost like a table of contents. And then each of those 2 things, and then there's the last one, which is the past week's projects, and those will just be updated. So once we're done with this week, a lot of the concept art will be moved down to the next, will be moved down as we're talking about character art. And so each of those are called cards, and I know this is a lot of information for you guys, but each of those are cards, and cards just get moved around like this. You really just click and drag, so it's pretty easy to do that. And at any time, you can go into a list, and you make a new list by just scrolling over to the far right, and there'll be a button that says Make New List, and you'll be like, this is my awful Trello tutorial. Okay, and so you made that list, and hey, it showed up right there. And then you can just add cards like you needed. And just press enter, new card comes up. And so, okay, so I've talked more, and I want to move it over to waiting for approval, because I think, it didn't work, all right. So I've talked more, and I think that I'm kind of done talking more. And this is not working for some reason. Awesome.
Try putting it above add a card.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. So you got to put it above. I didn't know that. So yeah. So I've talked more, and I'm like, hey, I'm done talking more. You put this in the waiting for approval thing, and your team lead's going to go, okay, this person thinks they're done talking more. And your team lead will open up the card and go, you know what? They haven't quite talked enough. So they'll move it back here into your list of things that you need to work on. Or if they think it's done, they will mark it with a color. And that seems a little bit weird, but basically you can label things with colors, and then you can look at all the things in the same color. So like, Art's going to, wait, who's purple? We had a fight over who got purple. Okay, Art got purple. And what you can do is you can like sort by purple, which is kind of weird, but then all of the purple things will be done. So you can look at all of the art lists, finished art assets at once. And, you know. And if they think you're done, they'll label it, make a copy of it, put it in the finalized thing, and then also put it in the original task list it was in. And that sounds kind of weird, but the reason we're making copies is we want to have duplicates, and then it'll be in the finalized list, so you can just look for things that are finalized, and also in the original list, so it kind of gives it some context.
Can I jump in and say something?
Yeah.
Generally, don't worry about making cards, because your dev team leads will take care of that. The way they're going to do that is they're going to have different categories for different aspects that you're going to work on. So for art, there's going to be a character aspect. There'll be, or say, I don't know, there'll be an enemy aspect, and then the hero art, and then you'll have the environmental art. And don't worry about making new lists. Try and go with the categories that your dev lead is going to tell you and is going to organize for you. And that way you can keep things a little more streamlined.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't actually need to memorize all this stuff. This is just the peak, because last semester people were getting confused with this, so I'm trying to confuse you even more this time around. I'm trying to provide a little bit of clarity about what's going on just with Trello. And then obviously if you have any questions, talk to your dev lead. And then also, so the blocked thing is if you just can't get any further on a task. So if you just are not understanding something, or you need more information, like you're trying to do character concept art, like later on down the line for a character that just like has no story written for it whatsoever, like you have absolutely nothing from the content team, then put it in blocked, attach a little message to it, which can be done in the comments, and the way you do that is you just click on here and you just write a comment. You just click on the card and you can just write a comment there. And your team lead will see that, give you the information you need, and kick it back to your list. And the relevant resources is just the team leads and you guys are going to be posting things that is going to be important information. So yeah. I know that was terrible and grueling and awful, and if anyone has, yeah.
Oh, do you want to let them know how to find things by their name?
Oh. And you can also, so there's a search bar up here. It works a lot like other search bars. It's just kind of janky sometimes, but when it does work, you can search for things by people's name. Or you can, so I can go, what?
I think it's when you click on your profile.
The profile.
It's like when you click on your own profile.
Yeah, so we'll be,
And look at your own tasks.
we'll be assigning people's names to
Oh.
the tasks. So like, if you're under character art, if you're
Yeah, big
assigned to do
death.
character art, then you'll be, then Katrina will put your names on all of the tasks that need to be done by you.
Yeah.
And so by going to your profile, you can look at all of the tasks, or all of the cards that need your attention.
Yeah, so if you click on the name that's in the upper right-hand corner and you hit profile
Well, you
or
go
cards.
straight to cards.
Oh, you can go straight to cards. And so that'll have all of the tasks that you've been tagged in. And so that'll be a quick way of you making sure that you know exactly what you're supposed to be working on at any given time. So yeah. Now we get to do the fun stuff, I swear. So now we'll be splitting up into groups and, or I guess condensing into groups and talking about development. So, and do we have any other